So today we will I'll just be telling you a little bit about journaling. And don't worry, I have done a lot of research to prepare for this. I went very deep into Pinterest and YouTube. So, well, before we start, I think I'll just explain a little bit about how journaling can be helpful and how it's also a valuable form of self-care. Personally, what I found is that it really helps me to put all my thoughts and my tasks and my calendars into one notebook because everything is there and I can look at it when I need to look at it, but at the same time, I can also put it away when I need a break. It's not, all of my tasks aren't always in front of me. So that's definitely very refreshing. And I've also found that journaling can be really helpful when I need to work through a problem. So I really enjoy putting down my thoughts on paper as they come to me and then reading over what I wrote just to help me come to a solution. Or at the same time, even if it doesn't help me come to a solution, it's very helpful because the thoughts aren't taking over my brain.
Yeah, I find that very valuable as well. So you have more sort of, I guess, working memory in some sort to be cleared from those little things, worries or thoughts.
Yeah. And right now, when we're all so focused on our laptops and everything, including classes and extracurriculars, are from a screen, it can also be very helpful to just take that time away and focus on writing on pen and paper instead of a screen. It's definitely much better for my eyes.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so you might have heard this term before called bullet journal. I didn't know what a bullet journal exactly was until a few days ago, but essentially a bullet journal is a method of journaling where you take a dot grid notebook. So instead of having, so essentially your page is divided into squares, but instead of having lines separating these squares, there are a few dots on the corners. So a lot of people find that this dot grid method gives them a little bit more space to create what they want and make sure everything is even without having to rely too much on a ruler. And on the screen, I've opened the bullet journal website. I didn't know this was this big of a thing until recently either. But essentially, when people say a bullet journal method, they mean something like this. So you can see it says that tasks have a dot, notes have a dash, and events have an empty circle. So essentially in a bullet journal, when you write down what tasks and notes and events you have to do, using these kind of signifiers will help keep everything a little bit more organized.
Yeah.
So for tasks, this is what you do for tasks.
This is so cool.
When your task is complete, you just cross the circle. And if you move your task into collection, or if you want to do it later, then you put the different arrows. And then when you decide that you no longer want to do this task, or if it's not relevant to you right now, you just cross it out.
Okay.
And for events, it's just this other bullet. And as you mentioned, notes is just a dash. Generally, people like to mix and match, but depends on what you like and how you like to keep organized. So for example, if you want to put notes for an event or notes for a task, you can also use the nesting method.
Oh, what's the nesting method again? Is it like you have things underneath the other, like events, then you have notes of that event? Okay, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
This is so organized.
Yeah.
It is. And then you can also put some extra signifiers in front of the bullet just to, I don't know, it depends on you. But if you put an asterisk, that shows that it's a priority. And then a exclamation mark is an inspiration, which I find particularly useful because I'm always writing down important ideas in the corner of different pages and I lose them.
Yeah. Sometimes I use arrows as well to like point towards like one point. And yeah.
I really like that. I also put everything into my note app on my phone, and now I just have random notes with the most randomest things on them. I think it used to be book ideas, but now it's just stuff like looking at these stars.
Yeah.
So this here is just an example of how to put stuff together. So in this example, they have something called a daily log. So just your tasks, events, and notes for the day. And what I really like about the bullet journal is that, so in the official bullet journal method, there's a modular framework. So, well, a module is also called a collection. I didn't know why they had to confuse it this way, but they did. And there are 4 core collections. There's an index, a future log, a monthly log, and a daily log. What I do like is that a lot of people kind of pick up this, well, these core collections and edit it for themselves and how they like to stay organized. So I'll go a little bit more into that with the template I made. So the index is just, well, an index of what pages has what. And then afterwards, there is a future log. So the future log is just an outline of whatever large frame of time you want to map. Normally this is a year. So it would have just the whole year outlined, and you can store data entries that will kind of occur outside of your current month. And then
very impressive.
Yeah, I think they're meant to be photos here, but I think this is just how my Wi-Fi is going to be. So next is the monthly log. And this includes stuff like you will be, well, a whole monthly calendar. So it just shows a bird's eye view of the month. And here you can add events and tasks. And then we have a specific task page, and it's made to help you take a monthly mental inventory, decide what are your priorities for the month, what haven't I done last month. So it's just a way to get everything off your mind at the start of the month. And then,
would you think this is a good place to have like when the deadline for things are here, or do you think this should be, I don't know, more personal, like fun stuff? I'm going on a trip sometimes, stuff like that. Yeah.
So what I think the best bit about this is that you can decide that for yourself. Maybe if you would like to have your deadlines there, you can do that. But maybe if you want to open the month and see all the fun stuff, that's also up to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it depends on everybody's individual preferences.
Yeah.
I also do a mix of both and then color code the fun things and the school things so you know which is which.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Yeah.
And then here we have the daily log again. And so there's also something called the custom log, and it's essentially whatever you want it to be. Here on the website, they've given examples of fitness or a food blog or a diary or a sketchbook. So I've made a template based off things that based off videos I've been seeing on YouTube and what a lot of people like to include in their bullet journal.
Mm-hmm.
If I change this, can you see this?
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect. So, oh, well, I just minimized that. Mm.
Such a
So-
beautiful template.
Thank you.
I love the font. Year at a glance. Oh, wow.
Thank you. Yeah, so this would essentially be the future log, but I saw a YouTube video and someone wrote year at a glance, and that just sounded so much cuter. So in a bullet journal, okay, I made this template on a letter size so we can share it with this video and you can print it and put it in your journal. But if you want to make your own template, Canva is great for that. That's what I've done. And what people normally do with bullet journals is that they use the dot grid to outline these little calendars, and everything that's on this template. I don't have a bullet journal with me, so I decided to stick with the Canva template. So these are the months.
Oh, I see. As in the bullet journal, people would draw out these things.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think with this video, we can also probably share a couple YouTube videos that I looked at where people outline their
Yeah.
individual bullet journals. I found that pretty helpful.
Yeah.
Sure, we
And
can include all the resources.
yay, okay. And well, this would be the month log. And so what I saw some people doing, and I really liked this, was before the tasks for each day, a lot of people had things like the goals for the month
Oh,
or a check-in where you can just write about how you're feeling, either emotionally, physically, or spiritually.
yeah.
And also a little gratitude page. And then weekly tasks. Okay, when I was making this, I kind of forgot to add Saturday and Sunday, and then it didn't fit. I'm
There are
sure
no tasks to do on weekends.
we can
It could be like your
Nothing.
school week task.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if anybody would like this template and you want a weekend, I think maybe you can have a little fun weekend spread.
Yeah. Weekends are for things that can relax and spend time. Yeah.
Yeah. And then here's just the next month. I didn't add the stuff from the middle of the month in each individual month folder. I felt that would be too big for people to download or add on Canva. So if you're using this template, just copy those extra pages before each month. So yeah, so this is just an example of what you could do with a bullet journal. And I don't know, does anybody have any questions?
Do you want to take us an example how you would fill it out?
Yeah, sure. So what I would do in a year at a glance, I think. Personally, I like having that there when I just want to see individual dates. I feel like I don't know what I might put there except birthdays.
Yeah.
It's always important to keep track of that.
Yeah.
And then for the monthly ones, personally, what I like doing is highlighting in different colors my different assignments. So maybe an essay would be highlighted in yellow, and then a test would be in blue. And sometimes I also like putting all my meetings there. And I don't know, normally fun stuff aren't really something I put in a journal because I like keeping that outside of my journal, because my journal is like a place where I might just catalog my tasks for school and outside of school and then try to de-stress from those tasks. So, and then my goals for the month would just be an overall plan of what I want to achieve for school, and also maybe where I think I would also want to include mental health goals in here as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, one thing I always have to remember is it's like just to take some time away and to de-stress, and that it's okay to just relax sometimes. It's not always procrastination. And then the check-in page would just be a page where I can just write down my thoughts and how I'm feeling before the start of the month.
Yeah, I think this page is super helpful, especially like when you look back later on, look back at this page, like your thoughts, emotions you're experiencing at the beginning, throughout the month, and yeah, see how
You could
things
also
change.
write this letter as a letter to yourself and read it in the future.
Oh, I really like that. Yeah, I do. I would change that right now, but I think the leaves here are on top of the text box. Okay. And then gratitude is also another page that's nice to look at maybe during the month or after the month, or just any time I want to go back and remember what I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
And then, yes, the weekly tasks. And here I think it's a good opportunity to try out the bullet journal method with tasks and fill it out.
That's cool. Oh, and for November, we know what to put in. Reading
Oh, yeah.
week. Circle out the reading week.
From here to here.
Have a nice break.
Oh, yeah, it should start from the 7th, right? The weekend.
Yeah, well, or Friday night.
Yeah, just put Friday down as reading week.
I usually start
Yeah.
mine
Do you guys
whichever
have any
day I don't
plans?
have class.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Do
I
you
have
have
a class
plans?
on
Because
Friday.
I don't have reading
Oh.
week.
Oh, I see. I don't know. I want to go skiing. I'm not sure how much snow there will be in November though.
Well, if not November, that's a good February reading week plan.
That's true.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great
Yeah.
idea.
I've never been skiing.
Me neither. Timana, what's your plan?
Well, I'm in India right now, and well, I don't know, I'll probably just be at home as I have been. And I think I might just take that time to work on my novel, which is something I haven't been working on.
Oh,
Ooh, that sounds amazing.
are you writing a novel?
I am, and it sounds a lot more fancier than it actually is. I don't have much right now.
But it is so cool. Wow.
I think the
Wow.
hardest step is
I
getting started.
Yeah. I barely like read anything. And, wow.
But yes, this calendar is amazing and it's such a good way to keep track of all your dates, all your notes, all your check-ins with yourself.
And
So I have a question. Where would the events, tasks, notes, that sort of notation come in to combine with the templates here?
so what I've done here is so the weekly task page would essentially be the daily log we saw
Oh, I see.
on the website. So
Yeah.
they could just go over here in the boxes.
Yeah.
So what's really interesting is how people kind of plan out their daily logs. Some people like having separate boxes. Other people divide their journals into vertical lines. So, and I saw this one YouTuber who had different things at the top of the page and then a very large gap in between and then tasks for other things. So I think it's more of like a fun and work kind of daily task, which I really enjoyed.
Oh, yeah, I think with bullet journal, it really gives you the freedom to try out different formats, different ways of organizing the boxes. Yeah. For me, when I journal or when I plan, when I have tasks, things like that, I often don't leave space for myself to reflect on how I'm feeling. So I think, yeah, it's important for that reflection page or some gaps on your like journal pages, like the space remind you to reflect, to check in with yourself. For me, that's very helpful.
Yeah, and the great thing about this is that as you can make your own grids and tables and everything, what you can also do is maybe write down what TV shows or movies or books you're looking forward to in the month. And then, or just different ways to relax. Like maybe if you want to remember to meditate every day, then maybe you could write down your weekly task, a 10-minute meditation.
Yeah.
Those are great ideas, especially because sometimes we forget to relax and we're always in the constant go of school.
Yeah, so what I was doing when, those brief days before residence shut and after the university went online, I was trying to figure out how I would keep on top of everything. And what I started to do is I made, instead of to-do lists, I made an I will list. And just because I thought that felt a little bit more positive and like something I'd actually want to look at. And
It's a
on
great
it,
idea.
thank you. And on it, I wrote even the simplest task, like drink this much water today. Or, I don't know, remember to do laundry today. So just everything was mixed in, even with my assignments. And it just made me feel a bit more motivated the more things I ticked off the list.
Yeah, and we could also have little notes to ourselves, like, or a friendly way of saying do this task instead of just a dry to-do list. I guess sometimes that might help you to feel more motivated.
Yeah.
I should try that.
Yeah. Another YouTuber that I saw, so for her month at a glance, what she would do is get one of those those really small photo printers that you can just plug into your phone? And she would
Yes.
print a photo of the month and she'd stick in her journal.
Whoa.
That's such a good
I want
idea.
one of these.
Yeah.
The little printer, that's the key.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I'm
also
sure.
use a Polaroid camera.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And if you don't have a little printer or a Polaroid camera, then you could always just print a small photo from a regular printer.
Yeah.
That's completely true too.
Yeah, I feel very inspired from this workshop, and there are definitely ideas that I want to experiment with in the next few weeks. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so
Wow.
much, Tamana. This
Thank
was such a
you.
great tutorial.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing the screen now.